Today in the gun room, we're stepping into the Wayback Machine to take a look at this highly customized Smith & Wesson Shield and a project known as the ASP pistol. In the early 1970s in New York City was a man named Paris Theodore. Now, Mr. Theodore owned a custom leather holster shop known as Seven Trees Limited, but in the basement of Seven Trees Limited was another company called Armament Services and Procurement. Now, what a lot of people don't know about Mr. Theodore is that he is the closest thing that we in America have to a real-life James Bond Q. He was a mad scientist and tinkerer with pistols who loved to make gadgets and figure out innovative ways to make service pistols more optimized for those who were carrying them into harm's way. In the early 70s, Mr. Paris started with a Smith & Wesson 39 or 39-2 and highly customized them. He shortened the barrel, he replaced the grip panels with clear see-through Lexan, he coated the entire pistol with Teflon S, which was unheard of at that time. And he replaced the traditional iron sights with what he called the gutter snipe sight. The gutter snipe was a non-electrical, non-mechanical, fixed, single focal plane sighting system. These pistols were hand-built by Theodore Paris in very limited numbers, and many of them were issued out to intelligence officers who saw service in South America and other parts of the globe during the middle of the Cold War. What we have here is our interpretation of what a second-gen ASP pistol might look like. Now, because the original ASP started with a Smith & Wesson Model 39, we started with a Smith & Wesson Shield. We tried to maximize modern advancements like larger magazines, polymer frames, but we wanted to keep some of the innovation that was inherent to the original ASP projects. Our pet project, which we like to call the ASP 2.0, does feature some of the same innovations that Paris Theodore worked into the original ASPs. Now, the original Smith & Wesson Model 39s featured grip panels that screwed on much like a 1911, which he replaced with clear Lexan. We didn't quite have that option with a polymer frame shield, but what we were able to do was have channels cut into the polymer frame itself with matching channels cut into the magazine itself, so that you did still get the same effect of being able to have a visual reference of how many rounds you had left in the magazine. Mr. Theodore coated his original guns in Teflon S, as we said. We went with a two-tone coat finish that features the magazine, barrel, controls, and internals in NP3. The slide itself has been refinished in satin Rogard. Now, all of this work was done by Robar Customs, which unfortunately is now out of business, so the Rogard finish is no longer available. However, there are plenty of other gunsmiths throughout the country now that are offering NP3 as an option, so that is still available to you. One of the other amazing innovations that Mr. Theodore came up with was to take the trigger guard of the Smith & Wesson Model 39 and cut out one side or the other, depending on whether the shooter purchasing the gun was left-handed or right-handed, which just goes to show you the level of artisan care that went into building these guns. Now, what we did was, instead of a left or right side bias, we chose an undercut, which is now commonplace on many polymer framed guns, but at the time, particularly for a metal framed handgun, this kind of modification was essentially unheard of. We also replaced the factory trigger and action with the Apex Tactical Action Enhancement Kit for the Smith & Wesson Shield. In the spirit of Mr. Paris's original gutter snipe single focal plane sight, we replaced the factory rear sight with a Shield RMSC micro red dot. The one thing that we added that Paris Theodore did not have accessible to him was a weapon light. We're pretty sure that given all of the other innovations that he pioneered for small batch custom guns that we consider standard fare on today's duty pistols, if he had had access to a functional weapon light, we'd like to think he would have used it. So we used the Streamlight TLR6, which snaps onto the Shield's trigger guard and is custom molded for this frame and dust cover. On the left side of the pistol, you'll notice that both the magazine release button and the entire grip frame are custom textured and reduced for better grip under high stress conditions. Now that we've gone over both the original ASP and the ASP 2.0, we're going to take the 2.0 out to the field and see how she shoots.